In other words, some of the religions of the world, when they first started, were created by people who were barbarians.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You see?
Sure.
So how does that relate to 21st century man? What is the validity of it? The only way that you can discover that is to study its basic origin.
Now, you actually merged into this next question.
Okay.
What have your personal experiences been that have proved to you that your faith is strongly substantiated?
Okay. Well, let me say this as far as strongly substantiated.
Mm-hmm.
It's stronger, it's a substantially stronger faith than when I first started.
Okay.
But it is a constant journey. I look for it to be even stronger,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
as the days roll by, as time rolls by. When I first started practicing Buddhism, I had a lot of things that I wanted materialistically. So I was interested in material things, but the biggest benefits that I've gotten from practicing Buddhism is how it changed my character.
Okay. Okay.
You see,
Mm-hmm.
when I first started practicing Buddhism, I just got out of the army, and only thing I can remember is how can I get these two guns on this airplane? You see,
Right.
because at that time, you know, being in the army, being a black man in the army was an extremely militant experience. You know,
Mm-hmm.
or so I thought. I kind of like hung out with guys that looked at it from that perspective. So I was the kind of person that was kind of introvertive. You know, I was the kind of guy that would go to a Buddhist discussion meeting. I would sit way in the back with real dark sunglasses on, like Eldridge Cleaver. Didn't do too much talking, just kind of like observe things. I was a coward.
Now, why do you say that?
Because there were aspects of my life that I just would not address.
I see.
And I would not address them unless they just came things that I just had to address. And also the fact to realize and accept the fact that I was a coward. You know, I was, you know, everybody do that. You know, I felt I was lazy, irresponsible. I think I had a good heart. I feel that I think that I was the kind of guy that had his mind wrapped totally around what it meant to be in a meaningful relationship. So consequently, I feel like I got into relationships with women where I would blame them for the insufficiencies of it. I felt that I was distant. You know, I didn't like to get too close to people. I didn't like people to get too close to me. You know, and I was. I think that I was
touched on all of these aspects.
Oh yeah, and I think I was suppressed creatively when I started practicing Buddhism. As a result, honestly, knowing to myself, it's not like I purposely went out with the desire to change those things. What happened, as we discussed earlier, as I practiced Buddhism and lived my life, I constantly became encountered with situations that I could see was a reflection of the environment. At first, like so many people, we tend to blame the environment when things do not go our way, or our relationships are not what we would like for them to be. It's always somebody else's fault. It's Mary's fault. It's my boss's fault. It's my kid's fault. Mm-hmm. But nothing, nowhere are we accept the responsibility of what happens in our life. When I started practicing Buddhism, I started praying with a desire to see why things were happening to me, depending upon the situation that was at hand. One of the aspects of practicing Buddhism is the object of worship that we pray to, which is really our lives itself, manifested physically, is to be able to perceive one's mind, or to be more specifically, to perceive one's life. In other words, to look at your life, first off, to get your life in a situation where you can look at your life objectively. In other words, I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm going to put the blame over here on the side for a second, and I'm going to look at my life. And as you look at your life, to be able to perceive your life, in other words, to see the truth, if we were talking about earlier.
There you go.
To see the truth about your life. When you see it, although you may not like what you see, to be able to see it and then also manifest the life energy to make a change or a difference in your life. I've had 30 years of experiences just like that. And as I went through each one of those experiences, my faith became stronger because I had never encountered, never thought about, never perceived that a person could objectively perceive the nature of their life. And then also because of the philosophy that they indulged in, to be able to gather enough energy to be able to actually change their life. That's why one of the basic foundations of Buddhism is to change what's considered to be karma. In other words, our life is what our life is based upon causes that we have put out, not in just lifetime, but in countless lifetimes, if you choose to perceive life from that perspective. Once a person realizes the causes they are generating that has been making their life unhappy, then they can actually change the course of their life. If I realize, you know what, I think I am kind of lazy. Maybe I should really push myself more than I do. From that instant that you do that, the course of your life changes. If I'm the kind of person who is the kind of person that can't really show my appreciation to people, maybe in the course of my life, if I can perceive that about myself and gather the life energy that I need to make that change, then I can actually physically make that change in my life. I've been doing it for 30 years.
How do you gather that life energy to make that change?
In practicing Buddhism, one aspect of it for my life, and I'm sure you'll find it consistent with individuals, is a person perceives their life, first of all. They see the aspect of their life that has been making them unhappy. As they continue to pray, they are actually able to manifest this Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, or ultimate energy that exists in the universe, and that wells up in their life that gives them their determination to make that change.
I see. How does your faith contribute to the betterment of humanity as a whole?
Excellent question. In our faith, we have as is true in most religions around the world, world-class philosophies. We have an organization that's sole function is to better the world. One of our most predominant issues is war, more specifically nuclear war. Our organization presents on a yearly basis a document to the United Nations requesting the abolishment of all nuclear weapons on this planet. We also hold constant dialogue with representatives from various countries around the world to engage in a change of course of relationships between people through culture and education.
And understanding, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. People go to war, because, in my experience, because people live differently.